Aristotle was born in 384 before Christ in Stagira, a town in northern Greece. His parents came from families with a strong tradition in medicine. His father, Nicomachus, was the son of King Nicomachus III of Macedon and served as the court physician to King Amyntas. Orphaned at a young age, Aristotle likely grew up in his family home in Stagira. At 17, he moved to Athens to study at Plato's academy, where he spent 20 years as both a student and teacher. Although he gained significant respect, he also faced criticism for challenging some of Plato's theories. Plato's later works, where he revised some earlier ideas, are believed to reflect the influence of discussions with Aristotle, his most talented pupil. In 342 before Christ, Aristotle was invited by King Philip II of Macedon to tutor his son, the future Alexander the Great. This meeting between two iconic historical figures, as one modern commentator put it, left little noticeable impact on either. Aristotle's 6 elements of tragedy serve as the foundation of dramatic storytelling. Plot, character, thought, diction, song, and spectacle intertwine to evoke a profound emotional response in the audience, ultimately culminating in catharsis. These elements define the tragedy's structure, encompassing the hero's fatal flaw and the reversal of fortune. Exploring their interplay reveals how tragedies resonate with us and explains their enduring appeal through the ages. Elements of tragedy. 1. Plot. Mythos serves as the foundation of the tragedy, arranging events in a coherent and logical sequence. 2. Character. Ethos reflects the moral qualities and motivations of the individuals within the story. Thought. Dianoia encompasses the intellectual and philosophical ideas conveyed through the actions and dialogue of the characters. 4-point diction. Lexis pertains to the language and stylistic choices used to express meaning and evoke emotion. Sensory and performative elements. 5. Song melos includes musical components and choral performances that enhance the emotional resonance of the tragedy. 6. Spectacle. Opsis involves visual elements like costumes, scenery, and staging to create a captivating theatrical experience. Ethics for Nicomachus. Aristotle composed 2 ethical treatises, the Nicomachean Ethics and the Eudemian Ethics. While he did not use these titles himself in his Politics, he likely refers to the Eudemian Ethics as te Ethica, his writings on character. The names Eudemian and Nicomachean were added later, possibly because the former was edited by his friend Eudemus and the latter by his son Nicomachus. Both works address similar themes, beginning with a discussion of eudaimonia, often translated as happiness or flourishing, and exploring arete, virtue or excellence, and the character traits essential for living a fulfilling life. They also consider the conditions for appropriate praise or blame, the nature of pleasure and friendship, and briefly touch on the relationship between humans and the divine. Although the overarching perspective of both treatises is consistent, they differ subtly in structure and content. One is a revision of the other, and while definitive evidence of their order is lacking, it is widely believed that the Nicomachean Ethics represents a later and more refined version of the Eudemian Ethics. A key indication of this is that the Nicomachean Ethics expands on themes absent from the Eudemian Ethics. For instance, only the Nicomachean Ethics explores the connection between ethical inquiry and politics, critically analyzes Solon's paradoxical assertion that no one should be deemed happy until after death, and argues for the superiority of the philosophical life over the political life. Consequently, this discussion will focus on the Nicomachean Ethics. The content of the Nicomachean Ethics is summarized as follows. All human activity is directed toward achieving an end we perceive as good. Most actions serve as means to higher goals. The ultimate human good, therefore, is an activity that serves as an end in itself. This ultimate good is happiness. We pursue happiness for its own sake, not as a means to attain something else. The goal of ethics is to discover the best way to achieve happiness. However, this pursuit is inherently imprecise, as it depends heavily on individual circumstances. Happiness is rooted in living according to appropriate virtues. Virtue is not an action, but a disposition, a natural inclination to act rightly for the right reasons and to find joy in doing so. Virtue represents a balance between extremes of excess and deficiency. This balance varies among individuals, meaning there are no universal rules for avoiding bad habits. Only voluntary actions can be considered praiseworthy or blameworthy. A voluntary action is one initiated by an agent, not caused by external forces, like a push or stumble. However, there are ambiguous cases, such as when someone acts dishonorably under serious threat. Voluntary actions are marked by rational deliberation and choice, where the agent decides the best course of action through reasoning to achieve desired outcomes. Aristotle explores various moral virtues and their corresponding vices. Courage involves confidence in the face of fear, while temperance is the ability to resist excessive indulgence in physical pleasures. Generosity and magnificence pertain to giving money appropriately and with pleasure. Proper ambition reflects a balanced attitude toward honor and an awareness of one's rightful entitlements. Patience represents a measured response to anger, acknowledging that some situations may warrant expressing anger. The social virtues, kindness, friendliness, and intelligence, foster pleasant and meaningful interactions with others. Modesty, while not a virtue in itself, is an admirable quality in youth, reflecting a favorable attitude toward shame. Justice, in a way, encompasses all other virtues, as being just involves demonstrating virtue in general. In human interactions, justice takes two primary forms: distributive and corrective. Distributive justice concerns the allocation of wealth or honor within a group, which should be based on merit. Corrective justice, on the other hand, addresses transactions between individuals and seeks to restore balance and fairness among them. One cannot wrong oneself or suffer injustice intentionally. While laws serve as a valuable guide, they do not account for every unique situation. In such cases, agreed-upon equality must sometimes provide the resolution. Moral virtues prepare us to act rightly, but possessing the correct intellectual virtues is equally important for reasoning properly about how to act. There are 5 intellectual virtues. 3. Scientific knowledge, intuition, and wisdom pertain to contemplative reasoning that is removed from practical concerns. The other 2, technical skill or art and prudence, rely on practical reasoning to navigate the world effectively. Prudence, in particular, is the intellectual virtue that enables us to reason accurately about ethical matters. Incontinence represents a unique form of moral failure. Unlike vice, which involves deliberate wrongdoing, incontinence occurs when someone knows what is right but lacks the self-control to act on it. Because incontinence is partially involuntary, it is considered less severe than vice. Friendship can be categorized into 3 types: those based on utility, those based on pleasure, and those rooted in the goodness of character. The first 2 types are often superficial and short-lived, as they depend on temporary benefits. In contrast, friendships founded on good character are the most enduring and fulfilling, as they are built on mutual appreciation for each other's true selves rather than personal gain. While friendships are typically formed between equals, they can also exist in unequal relationships, such as between a parent and child. Friendship and justice are closely connected, as harmonious relationships between citizens are the foundation of political institutions. Constitutions reflect different forms of relationships, with monarchy being considered preferable to aristocracy or democracy. Ideally, the affection we feel for our friends should mirror the care and respect we have for ourselves. Self-love is more fundamental than friendship, as only those who value and respect themselves can cultivate true virtue and happiness. Even though a happy individual is theoretically self-sufficient, friendship remains a vital component of a fulfilling life. Pleasure enhances and completes our activities, with a virtuous person finding joy in doing good. The highest good lies in rational contemplation. While a life of pure contemplation is unattainable, striving toward this ideal can guide us toward greater fulfillment. Practical sciences play a crucial role in navigating daily life, helping us align our actions with this ultimate goal while managing life's inevitable demands.